All right, today's lesson is over credit reports. Yuck. And, I say yuck because credit reports, when you become an adult, are everything. Credit reports can completely harm you and completely help you, okay? And so I'm really going to spend some time on talking about a credit report and how they can affect not just just right now, but how it can affect you for years to come, okay? So we're going to first kind of just talk about what a credit report is, and then we're going to talk about some things that happen with credit reports. Okay, so a credit report, you've got good scores and you've got bad scores. And a credit reports are compiled. What does compiled mean? What's another word for compiled? Piled up. Compiled means gathered, put together, okay? Credit reports are put together, okay? Put together by agencies to help lenders decide whether or not to loan money to a consumer, okay? So there's three major credit reporting agencies, okay? Remember, an agency is who gathers all the information about somebody. So there's three major ones. There's TransUnion, there is Experian, and I can't remember the other one off the top of my head. So anyways, there's three major ones. And so what that does is those companies take all of your information that you have that these creditors have, and that the creditors are people that have loaned out money, whether they're credit card companies or they are banks, whoever has loaned you money that's not a personal. So if your mom loans you money, that's not going to show up on a credit report. Okay, that's not going to show up on a credit report. If a bank loans you money, they are going to report it to these agencies and says, hey, look, Amber Armstrong borrowed $1,000 and made their monthly payments every single month and has paid it off. So that's something good for your report. Okay, so that is where when you go to a bank and says, I want to buy a car. So can you loan me some money to buy a car? This is when the bank says, okay, let me go and check your credit. That's what they call it. Let me check your credit report, and I'm going to tell you if I'm going to loan you money. That credit report tells the lender or the bank or whoever is giving you that loan, hey, look, this is all the credits that these kids have done, or these kids or these adults have done, right? They have this mortgage, they have this credit, and they've paid everything on time. They are a low risk or a high risk. Low risk means that you're going to probably not default on the loan. Defaulting means that you are not going to pay it back, or you say, hey, look, I'm not going to do it. So low risk is good. You want to be a low risk. You want the lenders to say, hey, look, I don't mind loaning you money because you're going to pay it back. High risk means that I'm going to loan you money and I may or may not get it back. And so a credit report can tell a lender, no, don't lend this to them, or yes, lend it to them. Or if you're going to lend this money to them, then charge them a lot of interest because you might not get it back. Okay. So let's talk about what a good credit score good scores and bad scores. So to get good scores, because they look at your score. So those agencies that have compiled it, they have some logarithm that says, hey, look, this is your credit score. I think it goes up to like an 850 being the highest. And the higher you are, the lower the risk is. The higher the score is, the better you are. The lower the score, the less likely you're going to be able to get that loan. So to get a good score, you want to pay your bills on time. That's huge. Huge, huge, huge. So when you're paying credit cards, let's go with a car payment, okay? Because pretty much everybody's gonna at some point in their time have a car payment. So if you're paying it on time, that bank will report to the credit agency, hey, in month of March, Madison paid her bill on time. And so that's what they look at. Look, on time. If you have one late payment by 5 days, they say, okay, there's a 5 days. They still got it in there pretty quick. They maybe just lost track of time. They also report, okay, well, they paid it 30 days late, 30 days late, 30 days late, or 60 days late, whatever the case may be. So they report that. So in order to get a good score, you want to pay your bills on time. You want to have low or no balances. That's especially true when it comes to credit cards. Low balances mean that I have a credit card, but I only owe $500 on it. That looks better than having a credit card and owing $5,000 on it, okay? So you want low balances or no balances. No balances, of course, is better than low, right? You want to have a steady income. You want to be able, when you pull a credit report, that credit report will show you how you're paying your bills, where your current job is, how long you have been at that current job, where you live, and how long you have been at that address. So if you have a steady income, that's going to be good for you. They're going to say, okay, look, Miss Armstrong has been a teacher for 16 years. She has a steady income. She's not, has a job, loses a job, has a job, quits a job, has a job, quits a job. That's not a steady income, right? Or if it fluctuates. If I was a substitute teacher, I'm going to probably get a lot of money during the school year, but in the summer, would I get a lot of money? No, because there's not school to sub, right? And then you want to have a regular job. What that means is not a regular job like in the sense of, you know, I'm a teacher or I'm a doctor or I'm a this. What it means is that you have a job that is a job that is going to pay out every single month or every single payday, you know, not like I'm in a job where I might have a lot of work or I might not have any work. I might be getting money, I might not be getting money. So those are all things that is going to make your score be good. So we want this good thing. Yay. Now, unfortunately, there's things that is going to make your score go down. Okay? That means late payments. Late payments will make your score go down. Depending on how late they are, depends on how bad it's going to affect you. High balances, we just talked about that. High balances on cards. We don't want to owe $6,000 to a credit card company, right? If you owe a lot of money, so maybe you have 5 credit cards out and they all are maxed out at $5,000. So if I have 5 credit cards and each of them I owe $5,000, do I owe a lot of money? $5, $10, $15, $20, $25,000 in credit cards. And now you're wanting another loan? Maybe you need to pay off those before you try to get another vehicle, right? Or if I have 3 different vehicles and a house and a bunch of credit cards and a bunch of loans, they're going to say, whoa, you owe a lot of people money. So there's a chance that you owe a lot of people money and I may not get my money back. And then when you have a new job, that kind of brings you down. So when you change jobs, and usually they try to see, okay, yeah, you may have changed jobs, but it's still in the same field. For example, with teaching, I may be getting a new job, like maybe if I go to East Central or a different school district. I may go to a different school district, but I'm still in the same, it's not considered a new job because it's still in the same field. It's still in education, right? Now, if I changed from being in education to becoming a oil field worker, I'm just throw that out there. Still getting good money, but maybe I've completely changed jobs, right? Like they sit there and go, how long are you going to stay at this job, right? Because it's a whole different one. They do take into consideration changing jobs within your field. So like I said, if I went from being a teacher at Lavernia to being a teacher at East Central, I'm still in the same field, right? So that wouldn't be considered a new job. All right. So before we go on there and talk about credit scores, there's a few things that I want to talk about, and we're going to kind of write them over here. So let's talk about things that are found on a credit report. So when a bank pulls your credit report, these are all things that they can find. They can find on your credit report, okay? They can find, answer it. They can find your full name. They can find your date of birth, your social security number. They can find other names that you've gone by. That's especially true with women. So if I got married, my maiden name was different than my married name. And so on there, it will show other names that I have gone by. Maybe I've gone by Jacob Michael Rose. I've also gone by just Jacob Rose. So it shows all the names that you have gone by. It shows your current address. Your employers, all of them. It shows your negative stuff. That means your late payments, anything like that. Your positives. Hey, you've done good. It's called good standing. It also shows credit inquiries, which is somebody asking for your credit. Like if you went and tried to get a loan and it shows, hey, look, Amber asked for a loan from, Wells Fargo in this amount on this day. And then, so it will show, okay, well, you've been asking a lot of people for money, right? That's kind of what it shows. What it doesn't show, what it doesn't show is friends and family loans. Let's see, what else does it not show? There's other things it doesn't show. Give me a second, it'll come to me. It doesn't show how many kids you have. It just those things that aren't going to be that's not going to matter to your credit, right? So lots of things like that. All right. So now let's talk about credit scores. All right, so I have a 760, 650, and a 600. Remember, the higher, the better. The higher the score is, the better. So let's go ahead and look at where these scores would fall. So of course, 760 is your highest, 600 is your lowest, right? So we've got monthly income. Not bad, right? Okay, I can't just go by just your monthly income. All right, here this person has had no late payments. This person has had 3 late payments. This person has had none. So I already know that this person, even though he or she makes more money than this person, this score is going to be lower so far, right? Because it has late payments. Credit card balance, no credit card balance. Owes quite a bit of money, right? owes some money, but not a whole lot, right? Again, so that makes this one already lower than this one, right? Loan to card payments. So this person makes $100 a month in payments. This person makes $650 a month to payments. This person makes $300 a month to payments. So even though this person makes more, he also has to pay more, right? So I would assume that this person has the lowest of the three people, right? So this score is going to be 600. All right. So which one do you think is the highest? This person, the first one, or the last one? First one, absolutely. This person makes a lot more money, does not make any late payments, has 0 credit card payments or balance, and only makes $100 a month. That could be anything. That could be to a just a personal loan, because these are just credit cards. So this is definitely the higher one, leaving this one at 650. All right, some other things that show up that I didn't write over there, I should have, are foreclosures, which means that, let me write that down here. A foreclosure, I would, yes, I would write this down. A foreclosure means that the bank is taking your house because you didn't make payments. That is a huge negative thing on your credit report. A foreclosure is huge. If you have a foreclosure on your house, trying to get another loan is almost impossible, okay? Another thing that could show up is called a repossession. I can't think of how to spell session. Oh, yeah. Repossession. That's really bad. And that is when the bank is taking usually your car, or sometimes they can call it a repossession is also, they could take from your house for lack of payments. These type of things, this is really important. Bad things on your credit card, things can stay on credit report for 7 to 10 years. 7 to 10 years. So I want to kind of put that in perspective, okay? You can't start building a credit until you're 18. That's when you're legally considered an adult, and that's when you can start building your credit. So let's say you turned 18 years old and you went down and you bought yourself a car, $5,000 car. Some bank lended you money to buy that, okay? 18 years old. And you didn't have a job, or you had a job at the beginning and you got tired of it, so you quit. Remember, you're 18 years old, right? You're kind of young, right? And you didn't make your payments, and so the bank said, okay, we're going to come and repossess your car because you're not making the payments. They came in, they take your car away, right? At 18, okay? So now you have this stamp on your credit report that says, hey, this person has had a repossession and did not pay back this bank, okay? How old are you? 18. That could come back and haunt you for a long time. It could come when you're 28 years old, okay? 28, 10 years. When I was 28, I was already married and had kids. So think about this. At 18, I was young. I didn't really care about credit, whatever. Then I got my life together and got married. I'm at 25 years old and I'm like, all right, I got married. Let's go down and buy us a house or buy us a new vehicle. And we go down and to buy myself a new vehicle or a new house. And they say, no. And I have a job. I've been in a job for a long time. And they say, nope, sorry, I am not going to lend you money because when you were 18 years old, you got your car repossessed. 10 years that could haunt you. That's a long time. And some of these little things, it's like a late payment when you were 18, those things, yeah, they're going to stay on there for a long time, but they're not going to haunt you as bad as foreclosures or repossessions. Okay? I'm going to give you a little, I knew of a person who, I believe, I don't know, I don't remember how old she was. She must have been like 19 or 20 years old. And she bought a small mobile home. They were going to start a family. Well, they broke up or whatever the case may be. 20 years old. And when she was 32, so she didn't make the payments and all that other stuff or whatever they didn't or whoever it was. When she was 32, she went down to go and purchase, I believe, a new house. And they said no. She works for the government. I mean, she has a very good job. Her husband has a really good job. And they said no. When you were 20 years old, you didn't make your house payments then. So we're not going to give you this loan to get this house. Regardless that you make really good money and your husband makes really good money and you've never had a late payment since then, but because that one thing. So they had to wait until that came off of the credit report because it took a while for them to report it. So it took them like 2 years to report it. So she had to wait a whole year to be able to buy what they wanted to because of that one young thing. So what I'm trying to get to you as is make sure that you're making wise decisions because they could come back to haunt you. All right, so let's flip it over. All right, credit reports are so scary. Only if you do bad things. All right, so it says which list most accurately reflects the information provided on a person's credit report? Can I find bankruptcies? Bankruptcies mean I bought a lot of stuff and I don't have a job anymore and I don't have any way and I'm going to file for bankruptcy, which means they wipe out all of your debt. Bankruptcy wipes out all of your debt. Says, okay, you know what? You are bankrupt. You have no assets. That means you don't own any cars. You don't own any houses. You don't own anything. You have nothing to your name, so we're going to consider you bankrupt. That means no, you don't owe anybody any money. You're starting fresh. Yeah, that's definitely going to be something big because a creditor is not going to want to lend somebody money that is going to then file for bankruptcy and they're never going to get their money. So that's going to be on your credit. Tax liens, that is when you don't pay your taxes, your property taxes, and they have to get like an attorney to try to get your money. That is definitely going to be on there. Property taxes do not show up on your credit report. This does not show up on your credit report. So I'm going to mark that off. So that's out. All right. Credit information history, your bank location. Yeah, that could show up. What bank? It gives you the address. The time the bank opens. No, that doesn't even make sense. Who cares about that? Your extracurricular activities. No.
Sorry, why not say yes?
No extracurricular activities, okay? Monthly payment obligation. Yes, okay. Amount owed. All right. Number of late payments. Yeah, that one looks pretty good. I'm not going to circle it. I'm going to check the next one. College applications. No. Rental applications. Yes, because sometimes when you go to ask to rent something, they want to pull your credit to find out. Salary earned. Yeah, because that's your income, right? So the only one that has it all is, and I'm going to tell you something, the other thing, is employers, especially if you're going to go into the government, any type of governmental jobs, your employer can pull your credit to find out if you are, how many jobs have you had? Are you, especially in the government will do, if you're going into the military, they will pull your credit also, just FYI. All right. The pie chart below shows the factors that can affect a person's credit score. Which category affects more than 1/3 of the person's credit score? Okay. More than 1/3. 1/3 is equal to 33.33%, which is equal to 0.33 repeating. Those are just my benchmark. I just want to make sure I have that. All right. The amounts owed. That's at 30%. Is it more than that? No, because this is 30%, right? Which is not more. Number of credit cards. That's at 10%. Is that more than 33 1/3? All right. Length of credit history. That's at 10%. Payment history. That's at 35%. Is that more than 1/3? Perfect. That's pretty interesting. That when I look at this, that new credit only hurts me if it's only 10%. Late payments affects me 35%, or even on-time payments. That means that payments is a really big part of your credit report, right? And so is the amount owned. All right. Which of the following would most likely have a negative impact on a person's credit report? Paying off your credit balance every month? No, that would give you a what?
Positive.
That would be a positive. Paying all your bills on time. What would that be? A positive, right? Owing money on 3 different loans. That would be a negative. Okay, so I'm going to put a question mark there. Using the same credit card for 7 years. No, because if I'm using it and I'm paying it off, I mean, that means that the credit card company hasn't said, hey, look, you know.
I thought that you get a new credit card every year.
This means that if I maybe I started when I was 18 and I had a Wells Fargo card and I just wanted to build my credit, and that just means that I am a loyal customer. You don't, when you're thinking of, you get a new one like whenever it expires, but it's not a new account, it's just a new card, right? So it would be C. All right, let's get that glued into your journal.
How do we